Lord of Omens, give me sight beyond sight. Beyond sight. Beyond sight.
What's up? What's up? This is another episode of Sight Beyond Sight. This is the comic book edition. As you could tell from my last video, I'm wearing the same shirt. That's because I'm doing it on the same day. So don't judge me. Today, I'm going to talk about this comic book called Y: The Last Man. As you could see, that's the same cover as back there. This comic book is written by Brian K. Vaughan, which is another good writer that I'm going to do multiple stories on. There's another one that I read that's called Saga that I'll do a review on soon enough. So basically, I'll do a quick review like I did last time and tell you the gist of the story, and hopefully you like it. So anyway, it's called Y: The Last Man because he's the last man on Earth, or the last male besides the monkey that he has on his back. One day, just overnight, something happened. Every male and all animals and humans just died out. Nobody knows why. And basically it leaves this world in like not destruction, and it's not super post-apocalyptic, but it is kind of. And these women have to figure out what to do and and try to figure out what's going on. Now, in the meantime, there's a lot of crap happening, meaning, you know, there's a group of women called the Amazons that are like, they hate anything masculine. So they're just trying to get rid of anything masculine. They look at this as a kind of like a blessing or a, what do you call it? Like there's a purpose for it. Like all the men died. They chop off one boob because apparently the Amazons did that to do archery better, and they teach themselves how to do archery, which is really interesting because I didn't know that. I don't even know if that's true. This guy, the reason why it's called Y: The Last Man, his name is Yorick. So I guess it's better just to say Y, or it's a better title anyway. And his monkey is called Ampersand. And what happens is basically the gist of the story is that he's trying to find his mother, his sister, and his girlfriend who's in Australia at the moment. And his mother's a politician, and his sister's like someone who works in the ambulance. Can't think of the letters right now. And basically that's the whole thing. After I think a couple months, he leaves the house because he's trying to figure out what's going on, and he runs into all these characters and these girls that hate men, or girls that like want to sell him to a group of women that'll take him, because basically, you know, the world's in a disarray, so they're trying to figure everything out. They're trying to, like, there's this one girl that I think it's the first girl that he meets, is driving a garbage truck that she doesn't know how to drive, but it's full of dead male bodies, and she's just trying to get them off the streets, you know what I'm saying, so it doesn't like stink and all the stuff. But again, he fights his mom, who's a politician, and she has like this woman that kind of is like a Michonne character, where she's like a secret agent that backs him up. Now they want him to go to a scientist so she could, because the scientists just learned how to clone people, so they want him to go to the scientist so she could clone him, and then he could go look for his wife. So a lot of the story is him saying okay to this as long as I get to see my girlfriend, not his wife, but his girlfriend. He wants to go to Australia, and I think this takes place in like DC, or at least the East Coast of America. And he runs into a lot of characters. You would think that it's a story about him, like, oh yeah, I'm having fun, I'm the only man left, so of course this is like a fantasy. And it's really not that. He really wants to go back to his girl. That's the only girl he really wants to be with. A lot of like I said, there's groups of girls that despise men and they like the world they're living in now. There's a lot of girls that want to be with him that he kind of pushes away. He's not a right. He's I mean, he's a regular guy, but he's not like super smart. He's not super fit. He's just a regular dude. And I think that's what makes the story interesting because of that. Like he's the only talent he has is that he was trying to be like a magician, and not that he was good at it, but he was learning sleight of hand. So that works a lot in the storyline. Um, but it is interesting to see where his sister ends up, to see where his mother ends up, to see the adventures he goes on, to see the women he runs into, like all the different kinds of like how they react to him, and how they some of them are trying to actually go and like kill him, like the Amazons, because they don't want him to be around. There's a town he kind of goes into that they seem like nice ladies, but they're all prisoners, and all the men in the town died, so they just took over the town, but they're trying to be nice, but they're like murderers and all this stuff. So in it, this book really reminds me of how Walking Dead is, and what I mean by that is like the character building and the groups of people, how like people group together and they become this little community. And there's a few instances like that. Like I said, the town with the criminals that end up trying to live a normal life because that's their last chance, and then and what happens with them. You got the government, other governments like I don't know if it was Israel or like a Middle Eastern kind of thing, where they're trying to take over America. I don't think it's Middle Eastern. I think it is Israel. But some lady takes over and wants to take over America. There's a point where there's astronauts that are left in space, and they're carrying mails. So it was only planetary that this thing happened. So those people survived, and there was one point of the story where they tried to bring them down, and stuff happens. So it's very interesting. It's not action packed, but there's a good storytelling, it's good character building, and it's cool to see what happens at the end, like him being the last male and the monkey being the last male of any animal species. And do you find out why and what happened? Who knows? But in my opinion, it really doesn't matter, because I feel like the whole story is compelling, and you want to keep reading more and more and more. You want to know where where he ends up. Does he end up with anybody else? Does he find his girl? Does he find his mother? Does he find his sister? Do they even want to find him? That kind of stuff. It's really interesting. So another review down. I hope you like it. If you want me to go into detail, again, like I said in the last episode, just leave a comment and I'll try to break it down in more detail, probably go by volume or trade paperbacks or whatever, just to make the story more interesting or just more detailed. All right. So have a good one.